be somewhat of a duplicate. You'll hear a little bit of interesting topics with regards to that. Isn't this a gorgeous facility? It is a beautiful facility. And so let me thank Pam for all the work that has been put into this presentation. Pam has been working on this and actually shifted and changed it and gave me a new version of the presentation. And I said, I'll look at that one tonight because all my notes are on this one, Pam, so I need these. It's certainly really a pleasure to see each of you in person. It's been too long, and the pandemic has challenged us in ways that we never anticipated would be possible. And it's so good to see you all in person. I see many of you in masks, and I certainly appreciate that. Mine's right here. I'm going to be speaking today, otherwise I would be wearing it. And we want to make sure, despite the federal requirements or block on that, everyone should feel comfortable in whatever manner you feel. And so if you wish to wear a mask, you wear a mask. And if you wish to wear it all day long, you continue to wear it all day long. And that really is where the college, and that's where I want to begin. And so if we can start with the pandemic, we have to begin with the pandemic. It has just encompassed so much of our lives for the last 2+ years now. It has been just over 2 years. It's been about 25 months now. I remember it as if it was yesterday. It was March 13th of 2020. And the world changed forever, if you will. And so we had to convert. It was a Friday afternoon. It was Friday the 13th. That should have given me a clue. And we decided to keep the college closed for 2 weeks for students, and all of us worked. Actually, it was supposed to fly to San Diego. Spring break is when my family and I take our own family vacation, just the 4 of us. And I didn't even have to cancel. Southwest canceled for me. So we ended up renting a cabin in Rio Doso, drove over there, and I came back a couple of days early because by the second day I was there, the cabinet and I were meeting regularly. And the cabinet is a much more significant group. So we have lots of folks. We make sure that the entire institution is represented, from our faculty senate president to different individuals that are working on COVID specifically. Dr. Pena has been a part of this. It has just been remarkable, and I just want to thank each of you for the amazing work that you have done. To ensure that the institution has carried forward, to ensure that we continue to be there for students and provide them with the education that they desperately need. We as a leadership group, and the board in particular, we've really tried to focus on the safety and security of our faculty, staff, and students. That's been at the forefront. I am incredibly blessed to work for a board who understands that. We just started 75% capacity, and so we'll go through a little bit of that. But I feel like if we really want to discuss it, we have to review where we've been. You know, essential student labs remained open throughout, beginning in the spring of 2020. Our CTE courses have been taught on campus since May of 2020, and they've continued throughout. So we stopped and we did online initially, that from March the, what was that, the 29th or the 30th? From March 30th on, we were providing online instruction. We couldn't quite do CTE courses yet, but by May of that year, we were able to come back in. Faculty came in. We implemented social distancing. We required masking from our students, and we were able to get our CTE courses to go forward. I remember the initial plans that I developed, and I thought by June we'll be back. We'll be back face to face. And so my initial plans, Dr. Pena and I, as we were working on these, we were saying June of 2020. We came back in June, but it wasn't until 2021. It is the board approved, and then we came back with courses offering a 50-50% mix of face-to-face and online courses for the fall of 21. So the staff came back in the summer of 20 at 25% capacity, and then we had our faculty come back and start teaching all courses, 50% of them face-to-face. That's what we offered. Students chose, and they registered for courses that they wanted to be in. So 55% of our courses ended up face-to-face in the fall. And this spring, we had actually gone up to about 60%, but a little variant, Omicron, I'm sure you all remember it. Omicron struck, and that was right at the tail end of the registration period, and students voted with their choices in registration. We ended up at about 54% of our courses face-to-face in the spring. This coming fall, we're moving forward with 65% of our courses face-to-face and the remaining 35% virtual or online courses. We'll never get back, from my perspective, to 92% face-to-face. If we haven't learned, the pandemic's been for naught. We've learned a lot. And everyone has worked incredibly hard to ensure that we have that opportunity to provide to students. And so I think we'll get to 70 to 80, somewhere between there, 70 and 80% of our courses back face-to-face. There's a segment of our student enrollment that thrives in an online environment. I have a segment of my home population that thrived in an online environment. My little one, Joshua, did incredibly well online, and I don't know if it was because he did well or because his mom was right there behind him the whole time, letting him know what he needed to do. My 16-year-old was absent, and I'm like, how are you absent? You're online. How can you be absent? I mean, it was frustrating. But they're both back in school, and they're both doing well. Let's talk about what we did as far as a return to campus operation for our employees. So there's a segment of our employees, essential employees, they were on campus throughout the pandemic. And so I can't thank them enough. Some of our IT folks, some of Mr. Lobato's folks, facilities and operations, they were on campus the entire time. Our police department, I just saw officers, they were on campus the whole time. I'm sure they're thrilled to see people on campus once again, as they were, ensuring the safety and security of our campus with not anyone on campus. But they continued, they moved forward. District-wide departments returned on campus starting on the 14th of June. We started at 25% capacity with 100% of employees participating. In August, we went to 50% capacity with 100% participating. And it wasn't until this past April the 11th, just over a week ago, that we started at 75% capacity with 100% of our staff participating. We'll continue to monitor it. Dr. Peña and the team will continue to look at it, and we'll make a decision when we're ready to go to, let's say, 90%. I'm not sure if we ever get to 100% back, even of our staff. There's a segment of our staff that can do their jobs from anywhere, and we may need to continue to explore that. I'll share with you, I've shared with cabinet members, my brother-in-law is a programmer at UT Rio Grande Valley, at UTRGV. He doesn't have an office anymore. His office is his home. They felt that the programmers could get all of their job done remotely, and they're going to continue in that fashion. So we'll continue to explore. Dr. Peña and the team will continue to explore, and we'll make decisions, but I would imagine at least 90% of our faculty and staff will eventually return. We'll continue to monitor the data, and we'll make our decisions based on the data of that. Testing is incredibly important, and it has been important since throughout. And so we are doing everything possible to provide a safe working and learning environment. We do have a testing site here at the Valle Verde campus. It initially was completely free, and then the government has not continued with funding. So our insurance is accepted, and even before that, we partnered with the city initially, and then we've now worked with a private company. And again, Dr. Peña and Hector Padilla and Isaac, all of these individuals have done such a great job of ensuring that we provide this. The vaccine clinic, again, we opened that in April of 21. Shortly after vaccines became widely available. They became widely available probably in the January, February timeline. By April, we had a vaccine clinic open at the Mission del Paso campus that offered J&J, Pfizer, as well as Moderna. We made those available to EPCC as well as the general public on Fridays from 10 to 4. We had over 2,000 vaccines that were administered. There was many, many volunteers that helped with this, from our farm tech faculty, medical assisting students and faculty, EMSP faculty and students, the ITC faculty, as well as medical lab faculty and students. Dr. Ajar was fantastic. We worked to provide those vaccine opportunities for our faculty and staff, as well as students and the general public, and we'll make sure that we continue to do that. I know that no one caught the flu, at least no one I know caught the flu during the initial pandemic because we weren't around each other. And so there was not an opportunity, but then all of a sudden we started to get together. And of course the flu is something that continues. And so we wanted to make sure we provided the the flu shots that made those available. We did that in October and November of this past year at all 5 campuses. We had about 460 vaccines that were administered, and so we will continue to do that. Again, Dr. Zhar and her team have done a tremendous job with that. So that's where we are with the pandemic. I just wanted to do a quick recap of where we've been and where we're headed. And again, I cannot overemphasize how good it is to see people in person. We had initially planned all of these to be virtual, and then we decided we were going to open up at 75% capacity. And I said, Pam, we're going to have a change on the town halls, and so we're on the campuses, and I'm thrilled to be here. I want to talk a little bit about Dr. Smith and his team and the great work that Instruction continues to do, Instruction and Workforce Education. Our mock retail pharmacy, this is, again, Dr. Zhar and the Farm Tech team. They've done a tremendous job. The Health CTE Math and Science Division, they finalized construction of the mock retail pharmacy. We've moved that forward. We invested about $110,000 to convert, dedicated to convert the Farm Tech Lab into a retail pharmacy. Certainly thrilled with that, and that's continuing to move forward at the Rio Grande campus. Echocardiography, cardiac sonography, that's pretty good. You all try to say that a lot of times quickly. This is I'm thrilled that we're offering this program. It is an amazing program. And I remember as we were going forward and I was talking about the kinds of programs we were going to have at the new addition to the Rio Grande campus, this is one that came up. And when I was talking about it just a few years ago, the starting salaries were $72,000 a year for the students that complete these programs. Well, the starting salaries today are just under $78,000 a year. These are a new program that started in the summer of 21 with a 10-student cohort and 1 full-time faculty and program coordinator. All of the students have been placed at clinicals at local hospitals and cardiology clinics. Again, these students will start at $37 an hour or just under $78,000 a year. We're certainly thrilled with this. This is a high-tech, high-wage program, and these graduates, it's life-changing for them. And so we're certainly thrilled that this program has begun. We'll continue to move that forward. Our medical assisting student success, Dr. Alejandro Romero, the ECRD 1211 being taught at Bel Air High School. Again, these are 8 students that are in the cohort. This is obviously a dual credit cohort. They successfully passed the certification at 100%. They have a second class of 15 students that's underway. And no pressure, but we expect a 100% passing rate once again. These are, again, high-wage, high-skilled jobs that we provide opportunities for our community to move forward with. Our radiologic technology, medical imaging, this has received JCERT accreditation through 2029. This is tremendous. It was the accreditation visit. All those, just like we shifted, everyone shifted. So accreditation visits were either online and they would send one person to the campus, or sometimes they were completely online. That continued to move forward. So we received an extension of accreditation for 8 years through 2029. Again, cannot thank that faculty enough for the great work that they have done and continue to do. The Rio Grande campus, the new J building, is something that was phenomenal. Obviously, this morning I presented at the Rio Grande campus. That building is officially open. It is moving forward. It is fully operational. It was a bear to deal with. The pandemic affected so many things. And we were already behind before the pandemic. But we finally have that building up and running. It is a 5-level parking, 2 floors of multipurpose classrooms, health programs, suites. All of the different areas that you see there. Classes are underway in the state-of-the-art high-tech facility. Again, in echocardiography, cardiac sonography, radiologic technology, all the different areas and programs that are there. We have the grand opening planned for the 8th of June, and that'll be the last grand opening that we do with this master planning process. But it has been a joy, it's been a thrill, it's been a headache at times, but we are thrilled that these are up and running. Can't thank everyone for all the great work that they've done. The true initiative Texas Reskilling and Upskilling Through Education. This was an initiative that the community colleges worked on in the last legislative session. We felt that it was important for us to focus on this. The state funded it. We're certainly thrilled that they funded it, and it is a grant opportunity. We received a Health CTE Division grant in the amount of just under $367,000. Its purpose is to accelerate the number of high-value credential opportunities offered to students and urgently needed for recovery due to the pandemic. So these are moving forward. You see that they're focusing 6 existing offerings from PCT all the way through nursing assistant. Again, I cannot thank Dr. Ajar as well as Director Stiles and their faculty for delivering on the TRUE grants. We have done a remarkable job of delivering on these particular areas. Some institutions have struggled, we have not. And those are a testament to our faculty and staff. The emergency medical services and our paramedic program. This program celebrated the completion of its 14th cohort of the Army Accelerated Paramedic course on the 13th of December in 2021. This is 30 weeks, 40 hours a week. That is a significant commitment. We're certainly thrilled. We had 14 students that successfully completed the program, and they had 100% successful pass rate on their National Register psychomotor exams. So certainly excited about that. Can't thank our faculty, Tim Groover, Ray Brooks, Adriana Knight, and Juan Rodriguez for the great work that they and that they led with this particular program. So certainly pleased with that. Our Farm Tech reaccreditation, again, this was this program that Dr. Nader Rasiri has led. It has been accredited for more than 30 years, and it received a reaccreditation without limitations from the Pharmacy Technician Accreditation Commission for another 10 years. So phenomenal job on this, certainly excited. The program accepts 12 students every semester, and their pass rate is currently 94%. Again, outstanding work, and certainly excited about this, but what a testament of 30 plus years of accreditation without limitation. Certainly pleased and excited about that. Our Avance to College program continues to move forward, and Avance is partnered with the college to provide a bridge program for parents of children ages 0 to 4. So Roselia Galindo is the instructor and facilitator. We have 25 students that are participating in workshops. They're on parenting, college readiness, GED, as well as ESL. Professor Teresa Nevares teaches citizenship classes, and we're this fall prepared to host 3 cohorts for 45 students. Certainly pleased and excited about this particular program. Our OER for computer science, we received a $50,000 grant to develop video content for Computer Science 1436 and 1437. Dr. Servin, who has done a tremendous job with this, as well as Ms. Nadia Karichev, and Dr. Pego as well. So this is a great program that will continue to move forward. They're in this building up on the 3rd floor. Great picture of them as well. Communication and Performing Arts. Dean Valdespino, I want to thank him and the faculty from Theater Arts and Mass Communications. They're moving forward with Little Tin Dogs. This production is being entered into the 54th Kennedy Center American Theater Festival. It's a national theater program that involves 18,000 students annually from colleges and universities across the country. And so certainly glad that we continue to provide opportunities for students to be engaged and for them to showcase the talent that they have. We have amazing talent, and so certainly excited about this particular program. Thank you, Dean Valdespino, and all the folks that are involved with this. Our PASOS program, I want to thank Ms. Lucia Rodriguez and all of the PASOS program volunteers that continue to do great work. Absolutely, you do great work. It continues to inspire and uplift the EPCC and the El Paso community through virtual speaker events, community volunteering, and supply drives. We pivoted. Everyone did. Everyone found ways to get things done. And everything that we had done face-to-face, we found ways to do virtually. And so certainly pleased and thrilled with this. The PASOS faculty, staff, and students volunteered at local food pantries, giving cariño, one plate at a time. This was just a tremendous effort. We showed how much of a community we are by volunteering in different programs such as this. And so certainly thrilled and excited about this, and thank you all for the great work on that. Mr. Armendariz and the Contract Opportunity Center team continued. Again, they went virtual and they were able to provide these services. We had 19 outreach events, 376 attendees, 78 clients that received awards. It was just under $115 million and just short of 2,450 jobs that were created or retained. So certainly excited about this. This is a great program that continues to be a part of this community. The Risk Management Institute, Mr. Bogle and his team have continued to do a great job. Since 2015 through this year, we've received over $1.4 million in grant opportunities, $100,000 that's awarded from Texas Mutual Insurance, as well as $160,000 that was awarded from the U.S. Department of Labor. We've had over 2,000 workers that have been trained just from June of 21 through January of 22. 150 plus local businesses are benefiting from this program. You see the investment. Texas Mutual has invested $700,000 and the Department of Labor has invested $715,000. So again, a wonderful opportunity for us to continue to provide services to our community. Dr. Carmen Aguilera Gerner and her team, they've done a great job with workforce strategic initiatives, the skills development fund grants that have totaled a little over $1.2 million. You see all the different partners that we're working with respect to those, as well as apprenticeship grants that have been over $500,000, and you see all of the different initiatives we're working there. But that's over $1.7 million in skills development and apprenticeship grants, again, to be able to provide for our community. Chrysalis has continued to do a great job. It's a literary and arts magazine. It was awarded third place in the Southwestern region for the Best Magazine Award by the Community College Humanities Association for its 2020 issue. You see all of the folks that have worked on that, from our managing editor, Vanessa Zuniga, all the way to our Spanish editors, Lisbeth San Martin, that's hard for me, Jaurieta, there we go, Jaurieta, as well as Natalia Areola. And so the faculty advisors, Minerva La Vega, they've just done a tremendous job, again, of ensuring that we're involved and ensuring that we continue to move forward. Our early college high schools. Our early college high schools do amazing work. There's 18 traditional early college high schools currently. You see them listed. And when we've opened them, all the way back in 2006 with Mission, all the way to 2020 with YASD. 71% of our students graduate with their associate degrees before they graduate from high school. We've had just under 5,000 graduates in these programs. In addition, we also have now what are P-Tech programs. These are Pathways in Technology early college high schools. We now have 9, and these are 9 P-Techs. So what we've seen and what the shift has been, just like the shift that I'll touch on when I touch on enrollment shortly, is we've seen students that have really gravitated towards the career technical education fields. And we also have a segment of the student body, in particular in high school, that say, I want to graduate from high school, I want to go into the workforce. And usually that's a minimum wage job. Now, right now, things are different, and I understand that with the labor shortage. We have students that are starting in entry-level positions, potential students that are starting at $13, $15, even $17 an hour. What these programs do is they provide students an opportunity to earn a level 1 certificate or an Associate of Applied Science degree that will provide a significant living wage. And so we have 9 P-Techs that we've now opened. In addition, we're in the planning year for another 6 P-Techs. You see teaching on a couple of those. So we're looking at 6 additional P-Techs for this fall. We do a planning year where we work with Educate Texas, the college, the high schools, as well as UTEP are involved in these, and we move forward through that planning year. And this is why we have the success rates that we have. They don't happen by accident. It's why we've been able to maintain over 70% of these students who graduate with their associate's degree before they graduate from high school, because of the planning that goes into these respective early college high schools and P-Techs. Some of the areas of study. So the advantage of the P-Techs is we work with business and industry, and they're at the table as well. They help us design it. They also make a commitment to potentially, they're not saying they will, but potentially hire these students as they come out with credentials to be able to go straight into the workforce with them. You see business, we have a couple that are in business. You now see that we will have 5 that are in education. And these are PTECs that will go through the associate's degrees. These students will then transfer to UTEP, earn their bachelor's degrees in education, and then go on to be teachers. Obviously, the pandemic has impacted some of our faculty and staff where we've had significant retirements. It's impacted school districts as well. So we want to make sure that we continue to provide that pipeline of educators. Health sciences, we know that this is a high-wage, high-skill profession in our community. You see all of the different PTECs that are going to be involved in health sciences. You see industry, manufacturing, and construction, public services, and then obviously STEM. So we will continue to move forward. I'm thrilled that we're moving forward with PTECs. Again, we have business and industry at the table, and that will mean that we are able to maintain some of that talent here in our community. Our dual credit training and partnership programs continue. On the 22nd of February, we hosted the Spring 2022 Early College High School Leadership Council meeting where we had 56 members in attendance. You see all the different folks that were in attendance, representatives of those respective organizations. On the 23rd, we hosted the Spring 2022 Counseling Institute with 140 attendees. I want to thank Dean Badillo and the entire dual credit and early college high school team for the great work that they do. Our Jenna Welch and Laura Bush Community Library at the Northwest Campus, Laura Lee Ambris and her team, they've continued to make sure that we are available and that we continue to have that community take advantage of the library. Now, many of these were online, but again, we converted and had efforts to have them. You see that we had a virtual program to align with the area school district's fall break. 36 children registered, taking 102 classes, including 9 online classes that were offered through Teams. Again, a tremendous program. You see the classes included story time all the way to writing. So a way for us to ensure that we continue to have our community engaged with the college. We'll continue to move forward. Ms. Rodriguez, again, and her team have done a great job with tutoring centers and impacting EPC student persistence and retention rates. You see the data. We know these things, and so we're finding ways, Ms. Rodriguez and her team, finding ways to get students to take advantage of these. There's more than a 10.5% higher persistence rate for students who utilize tutoring from the fall to the spring, and almost an 8% higher retention rate, fall to fall retention rate if they participate. So these are incredibly important. You also see the Happy Math Hour. Students that were taking Math 13-14, they had a 19% higher success rate in 13-14 and a 25% higher success rate in 13-24. So we need to make sure that students are aware of these, and we've done a great job of providing these. You see the kind of student feedback that we have. I feel more confident here because I can interact with the instructors about my doubt. So helpful for someone who struggles so much. It was very helpful and fun. Thank you. That's the kind of innovation that we've created at the institution and that each of you has led. And so I can't thank you enough for the great work. Sandra Lujan and the first year experience team, along with Dr. Mitchell, they have done a great job with the early alert and first year experience. You see the results from a 14% greater fall to spring persistence rate to an 11% greater fall to fall retention rate. These are tremendous efforts. Certainly excited about that, and obviously we also opened up a first year experience right here in this building, so certainly thrilled with that, and we continue to see the great results. So can't thank the team enough for this great work. Luz Cadena has done a great job with distance learning support services. As of the 21st of December, we had 573 faculty that have been certified in Ultra. You see the plan is to have in-person certification classes during the summer of 2022. Again, always if the pandemic allows. If we see a shift and if we need to shift what we do, how we offer things, we're prepared to do that now. We've all shown that we can do that. But I also enjoy that we're finally getting back to in-person. And so thrilled that this will move forward as well. Faculty Development Week in the fall was connecting teaching and learning through the new normal. All of these were virtual workshop, and you see all the different information for the 174 workshops in 65 pages, all the way to the first year experience welcome week. Obviously, we understand and we know that mental health has become a larger issue, if you will, just based on everyone being at home and being away from people for so long. So we're doing mental health workshops as well as wellness workshops. But that took place the 16th through the 20th of 21. This spring in January, we move forward with our Spring Faculty Development Week, moving forward with infinite possibilities. That you see all the virtual as well as in-person workshop information. So again, you see also that the mental health workshops ratcheted up to 12, and we'll continue to increase those as they're needed. And again, I think that everyone should take advantage of these items. It's good for all of us to figure out how to work with the stress. That is a big part of it as well. Faculty professional development mini grants, they move forward with 5 mini grants from October of 21 through February of 22. About $10,000 has been distributed for projects that address student success, anything from student success all the way through community improvement. So certainly pleased and thrilled with the great work that they're doing. Now let me recognize all the individuals behind that. Nicholas Fernandez, a psychology and who's at Mission, faculty member, Ms. Edith Aguirre, who's in math at Mission, Dr. Trevor Duarte, biology at the Trans Mountain campus, Dr. Yasmin Flores, music right here at the Valle Verde campus, Ms. Manuela Gomez, philosophy here at VV, and Ms. Janine Rudnick, ESL here at VV. And they've received tremendous support from Ms. Ana Resendez. So I can't thank the Faculty Development Office for the great work that they do. Let's turn to Dr. Penley and her team, research accreditation and planning. So SAC-COC, we are in the midst of our 10-year reaffirmation. That is in progress. Accreditation is ensuring that students have quality education, appropriate academic and student support services. They will be on campus, again, if the pandemic allows, but right now we're planning for them to be on campus face-to-face, September 12th through the 15th. I chaired a SAC-COC visit to a college in Virginia in the fall semester, and so right now SACS is allowing to do hybrids. Some people can be there face-to-face, some can do it online. Colleges, at least this year, I'm not saying it will be for us, but this year you can choose which manner. The institution I went to, they said we wanted either everybody here in person or everyone online, and I tend to agree with that. It's really difficult to try and have a mix. So we are planning for a face-to-face on-site visit in September. If things change and we have to shift once again, we will, and we'll make sure that everyone's aware of that. Ultimately, the SAC-COC board will vote on our accreditation status in June of 23. So the process, let's see where we are. And again, I cannot thank Mary Beth Hahn and Dr. Penley for leading this, but everyone is involved in this, or everyone should be. And they'll be asking if they're on campus, so make sure that you've all been involved. So we had the orientation, we submitted our compliance certification report. We now have the offsite review, that's where we are right now. So we sent our report to Decatur, Georgia. They have a group of presidents and faculty members and staff that meet in Decatur, and they review all of these certifications. I have not done that. I've been on site visit teams, and I've now chaired a site visit team. This group is in small areas. They have all the documents, and all they do is review the documents, and they make a judgment call based on what was submitted on whether the college is in compliance or not. That then goes to the on-site team. That's the next step. I chaired one of the on-site teams. We take what they have reviewed. We see where institutions are out of compliance, and that's the area we specifically focus on, as well as several of the federal requirements that you have to verify no matter what. We look at the facilities, things of that nature. And so that's where they are. And then ultimately it goes to the SAC-COC board in the summer, where they make a decision on the institution. And so our anticipation is that we will receive full accreditation as we move forward. Student achievement and accreditation. Student achievement's a core requirement. And so what are the core requirements? Core requirements means if you're out of compliance, you're automatically on probation or suspension. We had a core requirement finding when they came in 2012. We have corrected that. It was on the number of full-time faculty. But student achievement is core. And so you see the goals. And obviously, there's some goals we haven't met. And that's because of the pandemic. It impacted us rather dramatically. So enrollment, we said we'd increase student enrollment each fall by 3%. We're currently 15% down from the fall of 19. But there's a reason why. We've documented that reason, and we'll present that to SAC-COC, and they'll understand that. But you see all the goals. We have a persistent goal, a retention goal, graduation goals, all the way through licensure. So the pandemic had an impact on our goals, but our goals will remain high. We'll continue to strive to reach those respective goals. I want to share also, we have a new QEP. I don't need anyone to remember learning about the community or as a community. We don't have to remember that anymore. Now, you have to remember, find your way, connect, discover, succeed. So we have a new QEP. It won't officially kick off until the fall term. The goal is to improve student success through increased communication and ongoing career exploration towards student ownership of the academic path to completion. It was created over 3 years. You see all of the different ways that it was created. Dr. Andy Quiroz is the Director of Quality Enhancement Plan and Assessment. She is leading that effort, but all of us will be involved in it, so we're certainly excited about that. And remember, we have to remember, find your way, connect, discover, succeed, in particular in September when the SACS team is here. Assessment Day. Dr. Penley and her team, and then we'll be working with it for 5 years minimum. Dr. Penley and her team hosted a district-wide assessment day, and that was hosted in the fall. You see the sample topics from Planning 101 all the way through student learning at Hogwarts, how to make your assessment more magical. Dr. Penley is a Harry Potter fan, so there you go. Student success key performance indicators. As you've noticed, or if you haven't noticed, I'll share with you that board meetings, we now have a segment of the board meeting where we present data. I did the first one, and then I was told that I presented too much data by my colleagues, and so I certainly respect that. So now we're sharing that duty, and so all of the vice president and cabinet members will be sharing data. We're looking at this. We worked with cabinet to establish those targets for student success, key performance indicators, and those KPIs are being shared with the board. We break them up into smaller areas, share those with the board, and then we ask the board if there's any questions, any direction on those particular areas. Student learning outcomes, our SLOs continue to move forward. And so here's an example of the Associate of Arts and Multidisciplinary Studies, their SLOs. The curriculum committee voted to adopt those SLOs for the AAMS. You see those, and those continue to move forward. So you see 4 different SLOs and how they're going to be moving those. Ms. Bell, she's our Director of Student Learning Outcomes. She continues to do great work. The Communication Learning Outcome intervention team has been formed. There's also a critical thinking learning outcome team that's been formed, and they'll move forward with submitting the core assessment report to the coordinating board in February, summarizing our core assessment activities from 14 all the way through 21. So want to thank Ms. Bell and her team for the great work that they've done. In addition, they've found ways to recognize different folks. So the Assessment Compass Award is presented once a year to a discipline that's demonstrated innovation in serving students and learning assessment. So the 2021 Compass Award was presented to the music discipline. The music theory SLO test had a set of high standard for the SLO assessment design. And so we're certainly thrilled with this. The results of the assessment are analyzed and used to adapt subsequent semester of music theory. So kudos to them, and excited that they took it so serious and that they were awarded and recognized for the great work that they do. In addition, Dr. Kays and her team are moving forward with virtual data forums. They cover Power BI, our dashboards and reports. If you're not on Power BI, then you should. I'm on Power BI daily, looking at different areas of the institution. Daily, I'm looking at enrollment to see how we're tracking, but then I'll go in and I'll look at different areas, the number of degrees and certificates that we've produced annually, how those are shifting. Are we starting to produce more technical degrees and certificates? All of those different areas. Data terminology and trends, key performance indicators, and then focus on using data to improve student and program outcomes. You see all the modules that they provided, but institutional research has done a tremendous job with this. We continue to get better at using data, and we'll continue to move forward with that. In addition, I want to recognize Christy Frescas and her team for the great work on the strategic plan progress. As you can see, we have 58 division plans that have focused on goal 1 of providing quality education to meet students' diverse needs. We have 104 that are driving student success, 61 focused on fostering engagement and increasing partnerships, and 44 that are focused on sustainability. So kudos to each of you who lead these efforts, who continue to ensure that we can't just say we're great. We have to measure if we're great. So kudos to everyone for working on that. Let's talk a little bit about Dr. Iron and the great work that her and her team are leading. Marco Fernandez has done a great job with the network infrastructure. Again, these are to ensure for business continuity and disaster recovery. The teams have continued to work on backup solutions and evaluation. Obviously, this became even more important during the pandemic when everything was virtual. We needed to make sure that we could maintain these. You see the ongoing projects that they continue to work on. And in continuing to work on increasing information security is paramount. Just like we were all working from home, unfortunately, all of the hackers were working from home too. And so they took an opportunity to try and get into our systems, and we needed to make sure that we were just as good at blocking them. And so I still get an occasional email, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. And I look at the email address, and I'm like, that's not right. So poor Marco, he gets emails forwarded from me pretty regularly. But they continue to move forward, and they continue to ensure the security of our respective systems. They were incredibly involved in the master plan as well. Network and technical supports did a great job of ensuring that these buildings aren't just state-of-the-art, but they have state-of-the-art technology in them as well. And we wanted to make sure that that continues. So you see all the different work that they've done and what they completed in 21. We imaged and installed 675 PCs, 60 printers, 117 laptops. You see all the laptops that were imaged with our standard software. Again, kudos to them. And this is an area of the institution that never left either. In particular, you think back to March of 2020, when we were trying to pull in as many devices as we could to get out to our faculty, staff, and students. They had to be imaged. All the apps had to be installed into them so that they could continue to move that forward. They've not stopped. I'm certainly appreciative of the great work that they continue to lead. Aaron Flores and the web team have done a tremendous job with our analytics. The Programs of Study webpage has had just under 159,000 visits. The admissions website has had just under 124,000 visits. Online assistance and virtual offices, over 86,000 clicks. 486 website-related work requests have been completed. Just really good work. We continue to assess it and continue to make it better, and we'll continue to move forward with that. The help desk continues to do a great job, and the call volume is just, it's for the current academic year, just over 46,000 calls that have been handled. And you see where they've been handled, from the operator to the login to tech support. But again, this is an opportunity for us to be able to provide students with those needs, and sometimes faculty and staff as well. Technology Resource Center is moving forward. They provide services to include face-to-face training and assistance at the Valle Verde and Rio Grande campuses. They continue to move that forward. You see, based on student choice, student and faculty and staff choice. We offered online, and we did 740 online. We did 20 face-to-face, and those will continue to shift. And we certainly understand that, but we were able to get 760 attendees and certainly thrilled with the great work there. We chose Microsoft Teams. That is the product that we move forward with. You've seen that there's just under 45,000 group team and group chat messages, 437,000 private messages, well over 12,500 calls, and over 26,000 team meetings. We've all been busy. And so certainly appreciate the great work that Dr. Irohan and Mr. Fernandez continue to lead in that respective areas. Let's talk a little bit about Abraham's area, Abraham Uwal, and our information security of resources. They continue to move that forward. Application and ERP teams participated in comprehensive application security training course to assist them to create secure applications. They have the increased security for the DBAs, the database administrators. Again, it spans the enterprise-wide, includes third-party vendors, and it works to keep our systems and apps safe from intrusion. It's incredibly important. And so we're thrilled with the work that they continue to move forward with. The apps that they've developed. So we received a significant amount of HERF, Higher Education Relief Fund resources. We received those in 3 tranches. And so those 3 tranches we had to turn around and develop through the American Rescue Plan Act applications for students. We wanted to make them as user-friendly as possible. That was placed on an online app that they were able to utilize. In addition, the MySIO registration as well as the MySIO analytics. You see that they were used by 62,000 individual students, faculty, and staff with a total of just under 1.8 million attendees. Again, 26 labs and centers that were tracked through the MySIO track. And there was a total of 1,500 sessions with 48,500 employees that attended those. So kudos for how quickly we were able to shift and transition. In addition, they're continuing to move forward with the applications development. Again, they're using student success reports using the MySIO data, as well as re-engineering enrollment management reports for us to continue to move these items forward, and we'll continue to do that. Again, Abraham and his team have done a great job. There's Power BI. Again, I utilize Power BI daily. It's on my iPad for me to be able to, from anywhere, be able to tap into the system and see where we are. And know where we are when we're talking about a subject, whether I'm in Austin and I'm here listening to another president talk about what their enrollment is looking at in certain areas. I'm able to, at my fingertips, bring this up. They released a new app in Power BI for workforce and CE division administrators, and this will allow them to do the same, to have real-time data for them to be able to look at and compare to see where they are. Our enterprise resource platform, our ERP support, the certified cyber secure coder training has moved forward. In addition, the student satisfactory academic progress, or SAP, has also been automated. This is incredibly important. It was a manual process for financial aid. They've automated this. And the ERP banner team also supported the Texas Success Initiative assessment for us to be able to move forward with these. Again, these are through the banner system, and they've done a great job of moving that forward. Mr. Ramos and his team and academic computing labs, they've all been serving students to provide face-to-face assistance at all locations. Media Services upgraded 183 PCs in technology-enhanced classrooms. And so the district as a whole, we have 284 technology-enhanced classrooms. Obviously, we're sitting in one. And so we're certainly thrilled with this, and we'll continue to move in that direction, as we understand that, you know, once you pull out a new toy, everyone likes to play with the toy, wants to make sure that we have those opportunities to make sure our students continue to be engaged. EPCC TV, Mr. Lara and his team have done a great job. We brought in new furniture, new equipment's been purchased. In addition, they're continuing to record regular in-house productions. They added 3 new shows, Philosophic Dialogues from La Frontera, The Arts at EPCC, and then Chef Share. And so these are tremendous efforts, again, to ensure that our community is engaged with the college. They're also partnering with the Diversity Office to promote events for Black History Month, Women's History Month, the Valentine's Jazz Festival, the nurse pinning ceremonies, as well as the regular board meetings. Any of you that don't attend the board meetings and you're bored on a Wednesday evening, you can see the board meetings as well. They also have done promos in English and Spanish. So these are just tremendous job of ensuring that we're complying with some of the regulations, as well as providing cultural opportunities for our community. Dr. Amaya and his team continue to do a great job. That is a picture from our actual face-to-face commencement ceremony that we held in fall of 2021. It was time. It had been a full 2 years since we had a face-to-face commencement. Students wanted it, and so we moved forward with that. Kudos to Dr. Amaya and the Student Enrollment Services team. We had that. That's actually at the Haskins Center as we prepped for commencement. You see everyone masked up. We made sure that everyone was safe. There was a lot of hand sanitizer. My hands are still dry from that day. But we need to make sure that people have that opportunity. It's a rite of passage. Commencement is a rite of passage, and we wanted to make sure that we provided that opportunity, and we did. We had 2 ceremonies. One was held at 2, one was held at 6. It was the first in-person ceremony since December of 19. 488 graduates attended the 2 p.m., 672 attended the 6. So we had 1,120 graduates and their families that were able to be there. Dr. La Chica Chavez and her team did a tremendous job. Ms. Swartz, Emma Swartz, she did our first virtual commencement. We invited her back to do a face-to-face commencement, which she did. Dr. Coronado did our spring commencement that was online, and he's coming back this spring to do a face-to-face one as well. So we're certainly thrilled with that. Let's talk a little bit about enrollment, some of the challenges that we've seen. So we were very steady at about 29,000 students. We saw a little bit of a lift. We got up to 29,113 in the fall of 19, and then the pandemic hit. And the difference this time was normally we were by definition in a depression. So from March to April, there was so many jobs that were eliminated because of the pandemic. People couldn't go out, and so a lot of restaurant jobs, a lot of frontline services, all those jobs, all those individuals were laid off. And so we anticipated that enrollment would surge, because for the last 50 years, when the economy is bad, our enrollments surge. And in the summer, we saw a surge. And then in the fall, it all changed. And so we saw about a 10% enrollment decline in the fall of 20 compared to the fall of 19. This past fall, we saw an additional 5%. We're currently, the pandemic's taken a toll on enrollment. We're about 15.4% down in enrollment compared to the fall of 19 to the fall of 21. And really want to build back now. We have these incredible facilities. We have state-of-the-art technology. We have to figure out how to build enrollment back, not for the sake of enrollment, to be able to provide these students with the degrees and certificates that they will need to be successful and to give them a pathway to the middle class. But enrollment, if you dig deeper, it tells us different things. So our academic transfer enrollment has fallen 18.5%. And our career technical education programs, they've grown 24.5%. So we saw this shift coming before the pandemic. And so what we built through the master plan, 74% of the square footage we built focused on career technical education and STEM related areas. And so we've benefited from that. You know, every now and then it's good to be lucky, I guess, better to be lucky than good. But you've seen the growth in our CTE enrollments, and you see the growth of the makeup of enrollment that they're every year, from 11.5 to 12.9 to 14.9 to 17%. With the new facilities opening, my anticipation is that this won't stop, this growth in these particular programs. I anticipate that we should get up to about 30 to 35% of enrollment in these particular programs, but academic transfer programs are important. And I couldn't figure out enrollment until this past Christmas holiday break, the winter break. I was reading a Washington Post article that was that Karen Stout tweeted. Karen Stout's the Achieving the Dream CEO. She tweeted it out, and I read it. It was all about the economy, but the light bulb went off on it. And so what they did is they took a snapshot in the fall of 19, and they looked at students, potential students, at people that were 16 to 24, and then it looked at people, all other age groups, 25 and up, and all the way to 75 plus. So those that in the fall of 19 that were 25 and older, that fall of 21 were now 27 and older, there was almost 10 million fewer of them in the workforce. The Great Resignation, we've heard of this, all the different pieces that it's been called. Almost 10 million of those employees dropped out of the workforce. Those in 19, 16 to 24-year-olds, 2 years later, 18 to 26-year-olds, there's 5 million more of them in the workforce. So if you look at our enrollment, you go, and I went to the fall of 19 and I looked at our data, how many of our students were in that age group? Over 80% of our enrollment is still in that age group. So that's where our enrollment is. They're in the workforce. They're earning $13, $15, $17 an hour for what used to pay minimum wage. And I don't begrudge them for a second. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're earning those wages. I just need them to prepare for the future, because those wages will come down. And it's now a year since then, or almost a year since then. And so what happens? The wages come down, but a year later, now you're in a relationship. And then a year later, now you're starting a family, and it becomes harder and harder to go back to school. And so there's no reason that these students can't be engaged. That's why I've said, take one class. We offer so much online. You don't even have to come to campus. But if you come to campus, you're going to see state-of-the-art technology like in this building. So we want to make sure that we are ensuring that all of our enrollment comes back. I'm very proud that the CTE programs are growing. I'm thrilled that we're providing those opportunities, but these general academic transfer programs are important. And so we want to make sure that they move forward. So the state, it was a community college enrollment issue. The community colleges are down 85,000 students amongst the 50 community colleges. The universities are up just over 10,000 students. And the TSTCs, Texas State Technical Colleges, that pre-pandemic, they served about 11,000 students. Now they're serving about 15,000 students. So the state is still down almost 70,000 students. Now I feel better because I at least know where they are. Now we have to find a way to get them back into the system to ensure that they're preparing themselves for the future. How are we doing that? Dr. Maya and his team are leading that effort. Operation College Bound, we started this pre-pandemic. We obviously went online, and students didn't like a lot of online certain pieces. So in the fall of 2020, we saw 31% decline in first-time in college students. They did not want to take online courses, so they didn't come. So we did, that spring we had done Operation College Bound online. We've learned we're now back face-to-face. Dr. Maya and his team are moving forward with that. They're working with UTEP as well as all the school districts. They have 20 visits that are scheduled for the area high schools. It'll culminate in a citywide event that is hosted by the college on May 3rd. But we're seeing the results. If you look at the data like I do regularly, you'll see that our first time in college enrollment for the summer is up significantly. For the fall, it's up significantly. And so we'll hopefully reach back to where we were in 19 and start to build from there. But we're not just waiting for students. We're going out and ensuring that they're there. Ms. Lopez and her team in financial aid have done a tremendous job. Again, I had referenced the HERF, the Higher Education Relief Fund. We had 3 tranches. It totaled $122 million. A significant portion of that was directed specifically for students, that students would receive these resources. In the fall, we distributed over $24.5 million to students. In the spring, just under $13 million to date. we have provided almost $37.5 million directly to students who needed those resources. We just need to continue to find ways to pull them back into the college for them to move forward. But very proud of the great work that Ms. Lopez and her team have done. In addition, on our 2022-23, which is where we are now, this fall will be the fall of 22, we've had over 15,000 FAFSAs that have been submitted. The unduplicated count is 12,451 that have been processed by the Department of Education. 6,100 tracking notification letters have been emailed to those students. They're moving forward with FAFSA nights that were held in October and November at 21 different locations throughout the district. And House Bill 3, which was passed in the 19 session, it's increased the number of FAFSAs. It's now a high school graduation requirement for students to complete the FAFSA application. So we anticipate that this will help with enrollment because students will now know that they actually qualify for student aid. In addition, the coordinating board awarded the college the Texas Reskilling Grant in 2021. To date, we've had 1,407 students that have benefited from that grant for a total of a little over $1.3 million has been paid toward tuition and fees. In addition, students benefited from an additional cost of attendance, which was over $318,000. Again, Ms. Lopez and her team have done a tremendous job. We've actually met with the coordinating board and provided feedback and suggestions on how to make this better. We were a pioneer of several of the program changes that allowed the college to award additional funds. And it was so successful. Ms. Lopez has been interviewed by the Tribune on how we were successful. We're one of the few colleges that has been very successful in awarding these. There's some colleges that have struggled. And so we continue to show the way on how to lead these particular areas. Our C campus child care assistance program, Child Care Access Means Parents in School, continues to do great work. It's benefited 27 parents. We have the program qualifies for the 75% full-time child care subsidy, which is a total of just over $27,000. And the resources have served 39 children. Again, we continue to partner on child care. We want to make sure that parents have the ability to attend higher education. And if caring for their children is part of that, we partner with the Y and others to ensure that we have that ability to do so. Ms. Lopez was not busy enough with financial aid, so we asked her to be the interim director as well of Career and Transfer Services, and she's done a tremendous job with that. They had the annual UTEP Transfer Fair that was held at the Valle Verde campus in February of this year. Again, continuing to move this forward. It's a partnership that was established with Region 19 this spring, and we continue to move forward with this and want to thank them and their team for continuing to ensure that we provide successful transfer to students as well. Mr. Guerrero and his team continue to lead the new student orientation. We have the Valle Verde Welcome Center. And then all of the Spring 22 Operation College Bound students have been registered for summer new student orientations. And so certainly thrilled with that. We know that new student orientations work. We have the data and the statistics that I shared earlier. So we want to make sure that we provide it to more students, that opportunity to more students. Our police department, again, these folks did not stop at all. They were on campus the entire time. They upgraded their district-wide radio system. In addition, they're a bike-certified trainer. And then 3 officers have been promoted to Peace Officer 2s. You see them there. Jasmine Amenzuka, Raul Jacobo, and Javier Guerra have all been promoted. And so I want to thank the police department, Chief Ramirez and his team for the great work that they've done. SGA continues to move forward. They're working with the Hope Center. The Hope Center is Dr. Sarah Goldrick-Robb's group out of Temple University. We continue to move forward to discuss tuition, living expenses, and additional services that are needed. And our student government, they're really student advocates on behalf of this, so I want to thank SGA for the good work that they're doing and ensuring that our students have what they need to be successful. That advocacy isn't just limited to the Hope Center. They attended the National Student Advocacy Conference in DC, In addition, they met with Congresswoman Escobar, and they advocated for the Pell Grant Act, America's Promise Act, the DREAM Act, and the Higher Education Act, and continue to move forward in advocating for their fellow students. Certainly appreciate the good work that they've done. In addition, we came back face-to-face and offered winter break operating hours. So I want to thank Dr. Amaya and the Student Enrollment Services team and all of the areas. I know Ms. Shaughnessy's team was there as well. We had several different folks that were there. They were open 4 different dates during the break. They went through social media, and the radio was used to promote the winter break operating hours. And students were served not only face-to-face. If students felt that they didn't need to come in, but they wanted virtual service, we were able to provide that, as well as by telephone as well. Our athletics, this is important. So it was in the spring of 2020, and we actually were involved in athletics. And based on Mr. Hinojosa, our athletic director's recommendation, we canceled the rest of that particular season, and we continued all the way through 21. It wasn't until this past fall, and now we have baseball and softball that are returning to the field. Certainly excited about that. I keep up with them on Twitter as well. They continue to do well. Both of the teams are very competitive. If you get a chance to watch them, I'd encourage you to try and get out there. Again, our women's national championship in cross country and half marathon, Faith, has been fantastic. Adams Biwat is an All-American honor as well. You see these folks that have continued to do great work and continue to compete nationally and continue to thrive in their competition nationally. In addition, our cross-country teams have excelled. Our men finished in 6th place at the national championships, and our women were in 3rd place, but Faith was a national champion again. And certainly proud of the great work that she has done. In addition, our half marathon, they were national champion. Our women were national champions once again, and Faith was a national champion at the half marathon. Our men placed 7th, and Adams also had a 7th place finish. So certainly proud of the great things that they've done. And then when it's all said and done, we want to make sure that our student athletes are students first. And so very proud of the GPAs that they've been able to maintain. These are the cumulative GPAs amongst the players. Our baseball team's at a 2.81. Softball, our women are at 3.1. Our cross-country half-marathon men are at 3.38. And our cross-country half-marathon women are at a 3.7 GPA. So tremendous job with that. I want to thank our athletic director, Hinojosa, and his entire team of coaches for ensuring that our student athletes are students first and foremost. Vice President Shaughnessy and her team, the pandemic impacted us all, and we were fortunate to receive those resources, the HERF resources, but we also needed to make sure that we were financially stable. And they have done a tremendous job of that. So I want to go through some of the great work that they have led. They have received the 25th prestigious ACFR award. We used to call it the CAFR. Now it's changed names. It is the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. So I'll have to figure out how to say that. I can't say CAFR anymore. I don't know. The ACFR. The ACFR award was provided to the institution in 2020. We now have obviously received it for a 26th time. It is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting. Kudos and many thanks to Mr. Flores, our AVP, to Comptroller Ana Zuniga, as well as to Peña Briones, McDaniels and Company. Special thanks to Sylvia De Lucio as well as Victor Leyva for the great work that they've done, and obviously Ms. Shaughnessy for leading this effort to receive this award once again. Here at the Valle Verde campus, the ISC renovation project is complete. Kudos to Mr. Flores and his ISC team. It was an area improvement plan that was designed to improve campus facilities, optimize services, and produce a process area transformation. So really pleased with that. You see pictures of it. I encourage you, if you haven't been to it, to go by. It is a beautiful facility, well done. Certainly proud of that. Our auxiliary services, they had their successful opening of the new satellite Mission Del Paso ISC project. It is fantastic as well. You see pictures of it there. Just a tremendous job of doing that and focusing and ensuring that we offer those services throughout. In the fiscal year 21-22, the auxiliary services, 100% of inventory audit was completed at Rio Grande, Northwest, and the Trans Mountain campuses. And so we need to make sure all of our equipment is supposed to be where it is. And so certainly pleased with that. Congratulations. Kudos to Mr. Flores and the auxiliary services team. Great job. Our budget office. They have moved forward, and they're moving forward with the staff began the budget development process for the budget for 22-23. That's being conducted virtual budget workshops that were held in February. We have to continue to move forward and continue to plan. Kudos to Laura Theus, our director, as well as her entire budget team for moving that forward. We'll continue to present to the board and ultimately have a balanced budget where we're able to move forward for this next year. The financial statements and the external audit, they were presented to the board on the 18th of January. The financial statements received an unmodified or clean opinion, which is what you want. It is a outstanding audit. There was no material weakness or significant deficiencies noted. And we continue to be in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act. And so again, kudos to Mr. Flores, to our comptroller, Ms. Zuniga, to our associate comptroller, Ms. Antunes, as well as all the accounting services team. And then obviously they want to thank Ms. Lopez because of and her financial aid team. They're very involved in this as well based on the amount of resources that we distribute to students. So kudos to them as well. Great job. Again, the General Accounting coordinated efforts with the Grants Management Office to complete reports because we received these resources. We now have to report on these resources. So we reported all those requirements associated with HERF and COVID-related grants. Those reports, the quarterly and annual reports, were posted online. Others were submitted to the coordinating board as well as to the LBB, the Legislative Budget Board. And we continue to move forward with the coordination and implementation of new accounting reporting requirements out of GASB 84. So certainly pleased with that. And again, thank you to Ms. Zuniga and Ms. Antunes for the great work that they continue to lead. Again, our comptroller and accounting services, the bursar's office they extended their service for 4 days during the winter break as well. They had the ability of TouchNet services to allow students to have the access to their accounts 23 hours a day. There's 1 hour where we have to reconcile, but 7 days a week. Over 11,000 IRS 1098 forms were processed and issued to students. And again, cannot thank them enough, Ms. Moon, Lillian Moon, and the Bursar Services team for the great work that they do. Again, I want to thank our folks in the comptroller and accounting, Melissa Collins, Lydia Burola, as well as Joy Theas for the great time. We were able to move forward and pay the one-time incentive for our faculty and staff, able to move forward with that. Let me share with you that we are working, Ms. Shaughnessy and her team are working on trying to develop another one-time payment. We'll present to the board in May. We'll seek their approval. We'll try to get that done in June. We certainly understand inflation is affecting all of our employees. And so we're sensitive to that, and we want to try to get another one-time payment processed for each of our faculty and staff. In addition, we're continuing to move forward and working on the budget for next year, where we'll be looking at an across-the-board percentage increase. We've provided several scenarios. We've already started that process with the board, where we've provided them different scenarios. We will do our best to maximize that. We certainly understand that everyone is dealing with inflation. I filled up my Tahoe, and it was the first time, gosh, since I had a Ford pickup, and that pickup had a 30-gallon tank. My Tahoe only has a 25-gallon tank, and it still went over $100. So I try now not to let it go past half tank, because I don't like to, I have a pain point. 250 is my pain point. When gas is below 250, which it hasn't been for a long time, I'm okay, I'm happy. When it's above 250, I'm upset. It's been above 250 for a long time. And it's above for each of you as well. And so we understand that. So we will do our best. We will present to the board. The board has been receptive. And so we're hopeful that they will approve another one-time payment that will get done for our faculty and staff. Absolutely. Thank Ms. Shaughnessy. She's doing all the work. But no, appreciate all. We understand. We certainly appreciate all the good work that everyone does. HR. Dr. Peña has been just absolutely tremendous during this entire, he was tremendous before, but he has played a key role with regards to COVID and advising me, he and several others, and advising me on our plan. The initial plan was to come back in June of 2020. We came back in June of 21. And then we've phased those, and we've had to shift at times. We just got to the 75% capacity with 100% participating. Certainly thrilled with that. But Dr. Peña really leads that team, and they provide every Monday I get a report that he has diligently reviewed and looked at and provided his guidance on. And so cannot thank him and the team enough for the great work that they do and for ensuring the safety and security of our faculty and staff, while at the same time understanding that we have to get back for students as well. But tremendous job. Can't thank him for the great job that he has done as well. In addition, there's been an extensive review of our CASB legal and local policies. As we shift in that direction as well, we had a lot of policies that weren't ready for 100% virtual. And so we had to get those ready. And we worked hard at that. And so kudos to everyone involved, but Dr. Peña and his team have led that. Diversity inclusion, again, tremendous effort, tremendous job. We had the following events that celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, Indigenous People Month, Black History Month, as well as Women's History Month. We found ways to deliver these programs online. Now we're looking at bringing some of them face-to-face again, but we'll continue to ensure that we're delivering these programs. They're important, and we want to make sure that we continue these. In addition, HR coordinated and delivered 16 virtual workshops for 265 employees, 3 hybrids for 23, 2 virtual new employee orientations for 38. All of these pieces continue to move forward. And again, everyone has shifted. Everyone has done a tremendous job of shifting these items. You see the workshops included everything from timeless social skills for the mindful person all the way through Covey's self-management principles. Again, kudos to Alex Hernandez and Mari Reyes for the great work that they've done in ensuring that we're able to move these forward. Mr. Lobato and his team, another area of the college that never left. They never left the college. They were always here face to face. The participation of Rick Torres and Cesar Aguirre on the Safe Campus Task Force has been tremendous. The evaluation of offices and classrooms when we had the plastic areas up so that we were able to protect people, all of those were important. When we had to go from cloth masks to N95s and surgical masks, we were able to get those things done as well. We had oversight by Israel Banuelas of the cleaning and disinfecting by Olympus in all of our areas. So all of this has been tremendous. And then aside from the master plan projects, the completion of projects that needed to be done. And when we were all away, there were several significant projects that were done. And so certainly pleased with that, but all the way from the drive behind the Administrative Services Center, we were able to change that. I know some folks say, what happened to the other entrance? Well, we had to close that entrance off because it was a safety issue. We had to add speed bumps. I know, I drive through those as well. People don't like them, but people slow down because they're there. And so appreciate those. But here's some of the projects that they were able to complete. For this particular campus, the replacement of transformers in the underground power lines, the renovation of Instructional Service Center, but all the projects that have continued to move forward and been completed district-wide. Mr. Lobato and his team, you all have done a tremendous job. Certainly appreciate the great work. Mr. Gallardo and his team, we had to ask the board for emergency authorization to be able to do the kinds of things that we needed to do. When we were out trying to get laptops and we were trying to get tablets for all of our faculty and staff and students, we couldn't wait for the board to approve those. So the board provided authorization. I was able to approve those for significant expenditures. You know, $50,000 is our limit until we have to go to the board. We were approving $1 and $2 million purchases that we needed to go forward with, then reporting that back to the board as we went back. Mr. Gallardo and his team worked very hard on moving forward. They have been and continue to support the college since day one. They have also been the point people for the master plan projects. The Valle Verde Arts, this particular facility, we had the grand opening on the 14th. The Rio Grande campus expansion, we'll have that grand opening on June the 8th of 2022. And so we certainly want to thank them. In addition, their buyers have undergone extensive training on the new legislative laws that affected community colleges and our purchasing activities. So thank you, Mr. Gallardo, for the great work. Dr. Mo and her team have also been instrumental, not just with our students and the normal marketing of our students and communicating with our students, but shifting everything. I would get a question on the pandemic, I'd go to our own website, I'd research it, I'd be able to find the answer and share that with different individuals. So let's talk a little bit about the grants management team. Mr. Elliott and his team have done a tremendous job. They've worked with faculty to secure over $27.5 million of grant resources to date. An additional $8 million has been secured in grant funding since the first of this year. And they currently have a success rate of 80% approval. This is more than 2 times the industry standard, which is 30 to 40%. So to be able to get 80% is tremendous. It's happened 3 times in the past 20 years. Certainly thankful and pleased with the great work that they've done. Our exposure has been key, and we've wanted to make sure that we get our exposure out. And so part of what we've done is, we've moved forward. Grant management has also supported these grant applications from the Mellon Foundation of $950,000, the reskilling $1.5 million, all the way through the Accelerate at EPCC through U.S. Department of Education of $2.6 million has just been tremendous. And again, all of those resources will be utilized. That's when the board has no issue of accepting. That's where everyone wants to be the first to make the motion on these. And of course, you hear Dr. Graham and others that say, keep them coming. They've done a tremendous job of ensuring that. We want to make sure that we continue to maximize our exposure, in particular during the pandemic. Since September of 21, Marketing Community Relations has had 50 press releases. We received 100% coverage rate. We've had numerous front page stories, featured stories in local and regional news. We've been featured on local news programs. Carlos Aguilar, an economics professor, spoke just recently on the local economy. Sergio Sainz, one of our government professors, spoke on the impacts of the Ukraine war. And so it's important for our faculty to be out there, and so certainly appreciate their support as well. The Greater Texas Foundation. So when Dr. Natalicio passed away, and it's still, it's tragic, and certainly miss her. She was such a leader for this community for so long. They wanted to ensure that they participated. You've heard of the Diana Natalicio Hispanic Institute that UTEP is opening. They have a staff lead and they have a faculty lead. So a lot of resources were going to that. Greater Texas Foundation donated to that, but they reached out to us and they said, we understand that you have something that's in Dr. Natalicio's name. And so they provided and contributed $25,000 for her endowment here at the college that we provide scholarships with. So certainly pleased with that, and she will continue to be a pioneer for our community. Senator Christie, Senator Christie was our last commencement speaker pre-pandemic in December of 19, our 50th anniversary. And so Senator Christie was very appreciative that the college took so much opportunity to recognize his efforts to create El Paso Community College. But throughout that time, he wanted to make sure that Mr. Foster was also recognized. So even from dinner that evening after commencement, he was talking about Joe Foster, who had passed away already. I got to interview with Mr. Foster when I was interviewing for the job in 2012. And so he wanted to make sure that Mr. Foster was also recognized and was always remembered. And so he contributed $25,000 to have the Joe K. Foster Endowed Scholarship. And so they were both instrumental gentlemen. Mr. Foster chaired the steering committee and then chaired the board. He was the initial chair of our board. And so kudos to Senator Christie for his thoughtful scholarship. The foundation, I want to thank, and actually want to thank each of you, because the foundation moved forward, EPCC Giving Week, Giving Day. They were able to raise just under $7,500 in 24 hours by 92 donors, which was our faculty and staff. And so kudos to each of you in the midst of a pandemic, dealing with inflation, all of these, everyone still felt the need to be able to donate to our students. And so certainly appreciate that. In addition, we had Pastries with a Purpose in the fall, over $11,500 that was raised. It's funding 11 full-time and 23 part-time scholarships. There was 127 pastry packages that were ordered, and they did that in collaboration with our culinary arts program. So kudos for that great work. Marathon Petroleum Corporation Foundation, we continue to have a great relationship with Marathon Petroleum. They donated just under $274,000 for the high school to college transition welding program. So the college, Isleta, as well as the Marathon Petroleum Corporation are involved to make sure that we're able to provide these students with a pathway, get them certified, get them into the field. Welding is hard work, but it is also lucrative work. And so these students are going to go on and earn significant wages with Marathon Petroleum Corporation. So certainly pleased with that. Dr. Gross and her team, here's some of the foundation funds that they were able to raise. You see all the donors, again, Marathon with $274,000, all the way through GECU at $10,000, several different folks that are contributing. So certainly pleased with the great work that they continue to lead. Student scholarships are incredibly important. They had over $194,200 that was awarded to 134 students. And you see the testimonials. You see Monica, who says, "Thank you so much to the Northeast Rotary Club for helping me get closer to achieving my goal. This scholarship will assist in paying for my new uniform and other new tools I'll need for my upcoming classes." So these scholarships impact students directly, so certainly pleased and thrilled with that. Let's talk a little bit about next steps. So I know it feels like we just finished the legislative session. It feels that way for me as well. But in January, the new legislative session will begin. And if you wait till January, you've waited too long. So the 50 community colleges, or the 48 community colleges, are moving forward. Senate Bill 1230 passed in the last session. And 1230 is the Texas Commission on Community College Finance. And so that commission was appointed. 4 were appointed by the governor, 3 appointed by the lieutenant governor, 3 appointed by the Speaker of the House, 1 was appointed by the Board of TAC, and 1 was appointed by the Trustee Association. So Mr. Hunt is chairing this commission. He was appointed by Governor Abbott to lead this. In addition, we have several presidents that have been appointed. Chancellor Hellier from San Jac, Mark Escamilla from Del Mar College, Brenda Kays from Kilgore College, and then we have a staff member from Odessa College, as well as a trustee from Del Mar, have all been appointed. In addition, Lieutenant Governor Patrick appointed Steve Head, the Chancellor of Lone Star College. So they're moving forward, and we'll continue to move forward with our recommendations. So the 48 colleges that are part of TAC, I chair the Texas Association of Community Colleges. We were able to get the executive committee to agree with our recommendations. So we're going to formulate our recommendations under the 3 work groups. There is a college operations work group. Chancellor Head is leading that one. Student support work group. Chancellor Hellier is leading that one. And then there is a workforce work group, and Dr. Escamilla is leading that one. So our recommendations will fall under those work group. We currently have 10 recommendations, 2 under college operations, 4 under workforce, and 2 under student support. The executive committee has approved them. The legislative committee has approved them. On the 27th of April, I will go in front of the full board, and we'll hopefully get the rest of them to approve them. And this is a once-in-a-career opportunity. So there is going to be approximately $20 billion additional dollars that the state will have to be able to distribute to all of the different entities, K through 12, public ed, higher ed, healthcare, lots of different areas. But it's a once-in-a-career opportunity. If we, the 48 colleges, can get on the same page, we have an opportunity to take advantage with the commission recommendations. If we don't get on the same page, then the legislature will say, well, you come back when you're on the same page and hopefully we'll have money. So we will be on the same page. That's my responsibility. I will make sure that we're on the same page, but we potentially could be looking at hundreds of millions of dollars of additional funding for the 50 colleges. And I know you think right away, okay, well, $300 million, 50 colleges, that's only $6 million per college. If it was evenly distributed. It will not be evenly distributed. And in addition, this should live forever. So if you look at $200 million, but that's one session, and then in 10 years, you're looking at $2 billion, or $1 billion rather, because it's every other year. $1 billion additional dollars that could be coming to community colleges. So it is significant. We need to make sure that we're on the same page, and we will. This is the map on your left is the service areas of the 50 colleges throughout the state. Look for white in that map. You'll notice that there's about 4 counties that are white. All of those other counties, so 250 of the 254 counties in the state of Texas have a community college that is part of their service area. So one of those counties is Orange, Texas, by the way, that's white. And Orange, Texas has the Lamar colleges and universities. So that's who services them. But the 50 community colleges cover the rest of the state. The map on the right are the taxing districts. Yeah, exactly. That's right. So there's only portions of 81 counties that pay taxes to the 50 community colleges. And in fairness, they're the large population centers. But there's 170 counties that do not pay taxes for community colleges. Now, I have no illusions. This legislature will not say that all of the map has to be a color. That's not going to happen. But we need to show the state the difference between us and K through 12. Because if this was a K through 12 map, all of the counties would have a color. So this is important for us to be able to share that. This is also important. This is here. This is a calculation of taxes, proportional county taxes in El Paso County. So the college accounts for 4.4% of anyone's tax bill. The ISDs are for almost 42%, the city's almost 30%, the county's a little over 15%, University Medical Center is about 8.5%, and EPCC is about 4.4%. And I wanted to share this with you because I already got a phone call from a reporter wanting to know if we were going to ask for a tax increase and wanting to know what that tax increase would be. And what I shared with the reporter is that we're just starting the budget development process. We're sharing with the board different scenarios, and ultimately the board will make a decision, and that decision will be made in July and August timeframe, and then we'll be happy to share that with anyone and we'll have public hearings on it as well. But even if the board chose to have a tax increase, we would still by far be the smallest portion of anyone's tax bill. I think that's incredibly important for people to understand. I will also share with you that I don't think that it is a good strategy to increase tuition and fees when enrollment is still falling. So that gives you some context of where I will be heading with regards to the board. But I also want to make sure everyone realizes where we are. So we have to recognize the great work that's been done at the institution, and some recognitions. For 17 years in a row, El Paso Community College has been recognized as a leader in education for Hispanic students by Hispanic Outlook Education magazine. 17 years in a row. The 22 issue, we were once again on the cover. Certainly pleased and proud of that, and excited for that. And so I want to thank each of you, because this is what you do. The work that you lead is ensuring that we continue to move forward with that award. In addition, the Diversity and Inclusion Program has received the HEAT Award for the 9th consecutive year. Many thanks to Dr. Peña, to Lee Vasquez, and to Luz Avila for the great work that they do. And so certainly pleased with this. Congratulations. I want to congratulate Dr. Muro and Swami Mesa, who are the director of our community education program and program manager. They were a bellwether finalist, and so certainly excited about that. That was in March of this year. We went to San Antonio, we were able to present on it. We have been a bellwether finalist for many, many years. We will win that award. We've been a finalist, but we will win it. But I'm certainly proud of the great work that we have received and the great work that they led to get us to that point. Student accomplishments. Our college students are nationally recognized for their research. Gloria Sepulveda was recently awarded for her e-poster. This was the 17th year in a row that a college student, an EPCC student, has been awarded. Of the 400 awards that have been given at the conference, Sepulveda was one of only 16 that went to community college students. So certainly proud of her and the great work that Dr. Alvarez leads with the RISE program. So absolutely thrilled with that. Some additional student accomplishments. Mrs. Gomez told me how to say it, and I can't remember how to pronounce it. Uyola. Gracias. Mario Uyola is a great student, and you see he's a graphic arts faculty. He was mentored by our graphics arts faculty member, guided him in completing his certificate in graphics design. He later received an associate's degree. He had his first solo art exhibition, and so certainly proud of the great work that he's done. And his testimony, he says, EPCC has improved my life in many ways. The proudest moment was walking to receive my associate's degree with my family there to support me. So this is a tremendous testament to our faculty and our students as well. This is why we do the work. You see these testimonials from students. Ms. Caballero says, I sincerely believe that EPCC has changed my life. I feel more prepared as a person than I felt 2 years ago. Ms. Martinez says, there's no doubt that I have struggled tremendously with my disability, but I'm working hard toward a career and a better future. I'm proud to be the first one of my family to go to college, and I do believe that EPCC has been the best place to start. So certainly proud of our students, absolutely, and the great work. Our faculty continues to do a tremendous job. Professor Stowe is tremendous. Her book titled Life in the Time it is a collaboration with Border Senses and features the art and writing of students, faculty, and other individuals from the border region. And she says that artists can be an antidote in times of chaos, a roadmap for greater clarity, a force of resistance and repair, creating new records, new languages, and new images. So we're incredibly proud of Ms. Stowe and the great work that she does as well. This gentleman left. I was looking for him, Pam. Oh, no, there he is. There he is. He's back there in the corner. I want to congratulate our athletic director, Coach Hinojosa, who was named the cross-country women's coach of the year. Congratulations, Coach. You do a tremendous job with these student athletes. Kudos and congratulations. Yes. Yes. And I see you have the same glasses on. Nice job. Yes. You got to have those shades on. Absolutely. We were selected for the Intel AI for Workforce program. Dr. Pagel and Dr. Servin have done a tremendous job. You see a map of where Intel and Dell are working on this, and you see the quote from Pat Gelsinger, the Intel CEO. He says, "The next generation workforce will need skills and training in AI to develop solutions to the world's greatest challenges, and community colleges play a huge role in unleashing innovative thinking." We agree with his quote. And so we're certainly proud to be a part of this as well. And so kudos to our team for moving this forward. Our faculty and staff recognition dinner, our outstanding faculty, EPCC faculty and staff will be honored. You see that. We held that on November 30th of 2021. We actually held it face-to-face in person. We had a limited capacity, but we were able to honor those individuals, and so thrilled with that. We honored the 2020 and the 2021. It had 75 guests in attendance at the Administrative Services Center auditorium. And so Dr. Smith and I were joined by cabinet members and board of trustees to celebrate the hard work and dedication of the college, of the honored employees. And so certainly proud of them and the great work that they've done as well. This year, the 2022 Faculty Award winners, we're getting ready to celebrate them. Dr. Servin is our Minnie Stevens Piper Professor Award. In addition, Professor Aguirre is a mathematics professor at Mission. Professor Ramirez is an English here at the Valle Verde campus. Ms. Stowe is an art professor here at the Valle Verde campus as well. So congratulations to them for the great achievement. Certainly proud of them. In addition, our Outstanding Adjunct Faculty Achievement Awards, as you can see, Paulina de Santiago is a kinesiology faculty member here. Dr. Alejandro Romero, a medical assistant program at the Rio Grande campus, and Dr. Claire Wells, biology faculty here at the VV campus. Kudos and congratulations to them for the outstanding great work that they do. Mr. Flores received the 2022 President 2022 Excellence Award. Let me just share. So all of those HERF resources that we received, someone had to lead the effort with regards to that. And Mr. Flores has stepped up at our request and led that effort, ensured that we utilize those resources appropriately, ensure that we continue to get those resources out to students, as well as we provide for our faculty and staff, whether it's equipment, whether it's a one-time payment, whether it's a second-time payment, all of those things. He has led that effort. And so, Mr. Flores, thank you for the great work that you continue to do in leading this effort. So, well-deserved award for him. Our Professional Staff Association Employee of the Year is Angeles Vasquez. Angeles does a tremendous job. She's the manager of institutional research as well as our Texas Pathways lead, and has done a tremendous job. And so certainly thrilled for her that she was recognized accordingly. Our Classified Staff Employees of the Year, Isabel Chavarria is our library assistant at the Mission Del Paso campus. She's the full-time association award winner. And Emma Uresti is an ISC technician at Northwest. She's our part-time award winner. Certainly thrilled for them. Kudos to them. Lisa Elliott, congratulations to her. She is a graduate of the National Council for Marketing and Public Relations. She went through their Leadership Institute. She is a professor of mass communication, as well as a special projects assistant to Dr. Moe, and has done a tremendous job. So congratulations, Ms. Elliott, for that acknowledgement of your great work. In addition, Dr. Penley completed in 21, this past fall, she completed the Aspen Rising Presidential Fellowship. She was selected to participate in that particular program. It was a year-round program. She completed that in 21. It included a capstone focusing on suggestions towards courses to address courses with high non-success rates. And so, in addition to that, to the fellowship, she was also a presenter at the SAC-COC annual meeting. So kudos to Dr. Penley. Dr. Smith completed this program, so both of them have completed it. Very proud of them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge this. And I know I did it in the State of the College, but I think it's worthwhile to announce it again. The board is moving forward. We anticipate that they will be completing that plan, and they'll develop a plan to ensure that scholarships for students in perpetuity. But this would not be possible without the great work of each of you. Ms. Scott, Mackenzie Scott's team reaches out. They find out who's doing good work. We didn't apply for this. They found out about us based on our data and what we've been able to do in facilitating student success, what you've been able to lead. And so certainly pleased with this. We received $30 million from Ms. Scott. She awarded 8 community colleges in the state of Texas. We received one of the 2 largest. We received $30 million, as did San Jacinto College, received $30 million. Certainly pleased with this. The board will move forward. And again, we will invest these resources and be able to provide scholarships to students from this community in perpetuity. And so certainly pleased, but it is a testament to the great work that each of you leads on a daily basis. The master plan, I have touched on this a couple of times. We had the new building grand opening for Mission that was held on the 19th of November. It is an absolute gorgeous facility. If you have not been out there, I encourage you to go and look at that facility. It is beautiful, classroom labs and study spaces, as well as state-of-the-art facilities for that respective campus as well. This grand opening we had last week, and so certainly thrilled of this one. It is an incredible facility as well. It is state-of-the-art. It is a gorgeous facility. We will have the Rio Grande campus expansion. That one will be taking place in June, and so I hope to see many of you there. But I'd be remiss again if I didn't, on behalf of the board, thank each and every one of you for the great job that you have led for the past 2 years. It is so good to be here with you in person, and I look forward to continuing this in person, but we're ready to shift if we need to. But we wouldn't be ready without each of you and the great work that you led for the last 2 years. And so on behalf of the board, I'd like to say one more time, thank you for the great work that you do. And I'm happy to entertain any questions if there are any. Thank you all.